Let's talk about reading plans. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Christina, and if you're new, I am a homeschool mom of two. We are going into our 6th year of homeschooling, and today I'm sharing another planning video. So I shared a planning video recently on how I'm planning for the upcoming year. So I'm adding to that a reading plan. This is something I shared a couple years back. Last year I didn't do it and I regret it. And I am just reflecting on the year, or have been reflecting on the year. We're still kind of in the mix. So this is the way I planned for the years prior to last, where I decided not to do it. And the reason I decided not to do it, I just wanted to see if it was a simplified method, because obviously to get through a lot of material, you're reading multiple books throughout the week. And I wanted to see just what it would be like to just work through a book. You do get through the books, you just don't get through as many. And I missed getting through the material that I had set out to get through. There are a few books that we didn't get to. So either I'll be rolling those over, they're just going to have to be shelved for right now. Maybe we can read some on our time off. Not sure. But I did know and learned from last year that I wanted to go back to making a reading list. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So how I do this I do on Google Sheets, and I like to plan by term. So we have term 1, our list of family read alouds. This is my daughter, who is my rising 6th grader, my 11-year-old. And then we have my son's column, who's my rising 3rd grader. And then I have all the weeks here on the left. So we have term 1, term 2, term 3. And I just have gone through our history. We're doing Mystery of History, level 1, and figured out when I want to bring in some of these books that we'll be reading aloud. Some of them are historical based, that go along with the history, and then some are just for fun. So I just kind of figure out where it is that would best be brought in. And then I kind of calculate how long I think it's going to take for us to get through that book, whether we're reading a chapter, whether they're short enough to read 2, and then I just kind of calculate that way so that I know how long it's going to take us. So you do end up reading books slower, but you're discussing it. So you're always, when you're bringing out a book, you discuss what it was that they remember from the last time you read. And then you carry on, and then you have the children narrate what they heard. So yes, we're reading slower, but I think there's more comprehension from it. And then we're also getting through more material. So that is what I have been working on here. Now for my youngest, I am still trying to, get him interested in different types of books. So I've pulled some from our shelves, and I just left this blank. I didn't plan anything out for him. So I'll be writing in various books that we read throughout the year, and I'll write them in whenever it is, whatever week we start it. So some that I did pull, we have Nate the Great, which my daughter enjoyed, and she read that. We have Keeping the Lights Burning, Abby. Mercy Watson, To the Rescue. My daughter enjoyed these as well. So I pulled that one. We have Treasure Island, which is a little bigger, but the font's really large, and there are still pictures. So I thought this might be something he'd be interested in. We have Secret of the Hidden Scrolls. We have this entire set. So I picked book 1, and this was a favorite of my daughter's as well. So I definitely want him to read this series. Shark School. Another one with a large font. And History Stories for Children. So this is kind of what his font is looking like in the McGuffey currently. And I thought this might just be an interesting read for him to do. This is meant for 3rd grade. This is from Christian Liberty Press. I read this with the kids when my daughter was probably in 1st grade. So I pulled that to see if these would be of interest. So whatever we decide to do is what I'm going to add here in this 3rd column. So the books that I have added, this is not added. This is more of a resource book. All resource material that I'll be pulling out throughout the year based on the topics that we're learning in history, I have marked in my binder that I'm using for Mystery of History. So I know I have like kind of flagged it, so I know when to pull out those more resource type books where we're just going to be referencing a couple pages or looking through the book just for context. I'll be pulling those out. So I didn't add those into this. This is more for read aloud specific. So I'll show you what those will be. So we have One Blood for Kids, When Dragons Were Good. We have Uncovering the Mysterious Woolly Mammoth. We have this one and the first one, the Great Ice Age, and that's a really good book. So we're going to read this one this year. Just a real interesting read. We have The Golden Goblet, Tirzah, Sunshine Country, The Princess Belaheld, Extraordinary Animal Heroes, A Love for the Lost, Do the Next Thing, Around the World in 80 Days, Little Pilgrim's Progress. Okay, so that's what I have added to our read aloud section for the family. So all of those books have been added into here. And for my 6th grader, she's got Inventors and Scientists. I also purchased The Story of Inventions, which is coming, so she'll be reading that as well. Charlotte's Web, The Bronze Bow, Island of the Blue Dolphins, Esperanza Rising, the best Christmas pageant ever, 10 Girls Who Didn't Give In, Wish, and this is her literature, Discovering New Worlds Through Literature. So she'll be starting the year with this. And this, Charlotte's Web and The Bronze Bow have guides to go along. So there are different activities, comprehension questions, guides to go with those 3. So this is something she'll be doing and reading readers alongside. So that I've added to hers and kind of dispersed them throughout the year where they made sense and kept some parts a little lighter than others. So some books that will probably be starting in the summer. I had thoughts of doing something else in the summer, which we're technically not in our summer just yet, but I may switch that up. I think we are going to do a Simple Studies in the summer. So we're going to do The Incredible Journey, the Fortitude study from Simple Studies. And these 2 books I couldn't find a solid place for here. So I may just read them on our kind of breaks that we take. We do a 6-week on, 1 week off, and then we have a long holiday, so that might be where this one comes in. But I'll be reading this throughout the summer as well. So these were the ones where I was like, okay, let me figure out how I want to use these, either both in the summer or we'll just start the one and only Bob, and go from there. And then we'll start the study for this soon, and then just carry that over into the new year. So that's kind of where I'm at with planning our read alouds. So I wanted to share that to give anybody an idea that's curious. If you don't use something like Sunlight or, My Father's World, or some of these programs that Beautiful Feed books, that are literature based, and you want to read a lot of literature, this is a way that you can plan it out yourself. This is the way I did it, and it really helped us get through a lot of materials. Really interesting books. There's so much literature I want to get through in a year, and it was kind of disappointing this past year what we didn't get through. I mean, we read a lot of good books, but there were some that I really wanted to get to, and we just didn't. So I knew I had to go back to this. And hopefully this is helpful to somebody out there curious to know. Now, you don't have to do terms. You could just do it by weeks and plan it out that way. I prefer terms just because it keeps it organized in my head. And you just figure out how many books is your max that you would like to read in a week, and keep that as a guide, and just make sure you're bringing in books when it makes sense. And also, if you're not reading whole books, maybe you're just reading portions of books that go along with something you're doing, like history or science, you can figure out too when you want to bring in those portion of books. So hopefully that's helpful, and just plug them in. So I'm excited for that, and we will be continuing this method from now on. I won't make that mistake again. So hopefully that's helpful to someone out there. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. And I have previously shared our schedules for the upcoming year. Those will be slightly tweaked now that I've done this, just slightly, with the reading section. But majority of what I did in that video, those schedules, are the ones we're going to be using. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that at the top. And I will see you on the next video, guys. God bless.